Welcome everyone. This is your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. I have a very special guest today, but first of all, this channel is proudly sponsored by Magi-Knights Awakening. This is a magical girl and Super Sentai inspired tabletop RPG where you get to confront mythos-like horrors. You will find it in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by Detri Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop role-playing game where you play as monster girls, experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have recently released Daughters of Lamb. This is a pay-what-you-want tabletop role-playing game where you play as cybernetic nuns with guns looking for the missing pieces of their AI god. You will find it in their website. The links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by the Red Room Publishing. Please check out their store for exclusive tabletop RPG products. They have recently released Savage Swords. This is a Conan-inspired tabletop role-playing game where you get to explore ancient civilizations and confront forgotten nightmares. You will find it in the description and in the pinned comment as well. It is my pleasure to present to you Rin, the most talented VTuber from the Super Cat Punch channel. Rin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Hello. Those sponsors sound super interesting, by the way. Very, very
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
cool. Mm.
They have some really very interesting and very fun games, definitely.
They're all TTRPGs, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
Oh, I just recently got into TTRPGs. I just got into a group of friends, and that's been really fun because I never got the opportunity to. So I might personally look into those.
That's perfect. And the
Mm,
Daughters of Lamb tabletop RPG, it's pay what you want. You could even download it for free. The publishers encourage you
mm,
to try it out, and if you like it, then you can give like a donation or whatever.
mm.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Awesome.
Hmm.
I have a friend of mine that's developing his own system, and his Kickstarter's coming out soon, so that'll be nice too. Very, very excited.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah.
And what is it about? What is it about?
It's called Empire, and it has like a simplified system that is meant to make it easier for beginners to come into TTRPGs, but also making it interesting for veterans as well. Like there is a destiny die um, mechanic where you roll a die, and if you get like 6 to 10, you get what you wanted and also a boon. And if you get below that, you get what you wanted, but at like a detriment. Like some
Hmm.
sort of negative
Hmm.
effect that happens. That's a really cool effect, and you can use it like once per encounter and stuff. I'm gushing about TTRPGs. I'm sorry.
No, that's perfect because my channel is focused on that.
Mhm,
I only wanted to add that the fascinating thing about tabletop RPGs is that it is somewhat of a, it's not like a forgotten art, but
mhm,
there are very few people that actually run it when it was first created by Dave Arneson. You had
mhm,
Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson, but Dave Arneson was the guy who invented role playing tabletop RPGs, to put it in a way.
mhm.
And you have your average session of, oh yeah, I want my character to do this and that, and I'm going to do, can I use my spell, can I use, but you have the OG way where you stand in front of a cave, there are bloodstains on the wall of the entrance, and the game master shuts up, he stops talking, and the player, I pull out my torch, light it, pull out my dagger with my left hand and walk carefully inside. And you start to get into the mood, and it's so magical.
Yeah, like the
When
more
you,
imaginative way of playing. Like I really
uh-huh.
enjoy that. I really
Hmm.
enjoy that. It's been
Perfect.
like that for our sessions, and I like that a lot. The more roleplay
Hmm.
focused. Hmm,
Exactly,
hmm.
exactly.
I like that TTRPGs have come to more popularity in recent years. That's really nice.
It mostly happened because of the health situation that we had. A lot of people, had to stay at home, and they were like, "I'm so bored. What do I have to do?" And they started to
That
play
makes
online.
sense.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm very glad.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Mhm.
Now, Rin, can we start with you telling us? What inspired you to become a VTuber? Tell us like your origin story.
Oh, yes, my origin story. I figure I should explain my name first, actually, because Super Cat Punch, people ask me about that all the time. I had a cat named Luna. She unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago. But when she was a kitten, she lost one of her paws, her right front paw. So at the end of her leg, it was just a stub. And when she hit with it, it really hurt. So I called it a Super Cat Punch. And that's how the
Ah,
name came. She was a lovely kitty, but that's the origin of the name at least. As for why I decided to become a VTuber, I started with video content, and I still make video content across a couple of different channels. I originally started as just voice to do what I enjoyed doing while hopefully getting out there and meeting new people because I was was socially awkward and lonely, and I wanted to make friends. So I did that for a while, and eventually I came across a Hololive streamer named Korone. Do you know who that is?
I think so.
Yeah, she is an adorable brown-haired doggo, and she has just a heart of gold. And she inspired me to try VTubing. So I started streaming. I was really nervous, but I'm really glad I did because I got what I set out for. I get to talk to wonderful people every time I stream, and I've made wonderful friends that I cherish to this day. And I even, like I mentioned, I got a really great TTRPG group out of it, so that's great. And every time someone tells me that I've made them smile or I've made their day somehow, that makes me really happy, and it makes the whole journey really worth it, I think. So I hope
That's
that
great
answers the question.
because it makes a lot of sense. And it's funny because you have that contrast of a dog VTuber serving as inspiration for a cat VTuber.
Yes.
And cats are truly amazing. That is what your story about your cat. Cats can go through so many ordeals, and they are always smiling and playing around and happy. We have so much to learn when it comes to the enthusiasm of the cat. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I love cats. I have four cats
Uh-huh.
of my own.
Mm.
Mm.
And when it comes to like video games and tabletop RPGs, you'll see me as the first person to choose if there's like a lion man or a Jaguar man or whatever. I will
Cool.
always play as that character. But recently I've been thinking, don't you find it weird that when you have like an anthropomorphic creature, they have like human ears, but they also have animal ears, so they have like four holes like
Yeah,
on the
that
side
is
of
kind of
their.
strange. It is. You will find no human ears here, it's only cat.
Holy God.
And occasionally, demon.
Ah, awesome.
Don't worry
That's a
about
transformation, the second level, right? Or something like anime
it.
transformation. Yeah.
I am somewhat of a magical demon girl myself.
Demon
Call
cat.
back to your sponsors.
And have you always been into anime, video games, manga, and whatnot?
Yes, ever since I was little, I have been into video games. My older brother introduced me to like the old Mario games and like Zelda Link to the Past. And of course, when I was really little, he would just like hand me a controller and then put the plug underneath the Super Nintendo so I wasn't actually but I was still hooked. I felt like I was playing. I was little and I was just happy as a clam, thinking that I was controlling that one little dust pixel on the screen or something. I don't know. And after that, it was just the rest is history. After that, games like Ocarina of Time and Rayman and Kirby and Smash Bros. And all these other different games that came over the years, I really liked it all. Um, in terms of anime, I got into those at a young age too, watching things like oh no, the name eludes me. Cartoon Network, Toonami, and like Adult Swim and stuff. So don't tell my parents. So I saw anime like like Yu Yu Hakusho, which is still one of my favorites, and like Inuyasha and Big O and Ko Lyoko and all sorts of stuff back then. Um, for manga, I'd love to get more into, but I never really had the chance. I guess the closest thing I get to nowadays is webtoons, which I suppose is more or less digital manga, but I never had a chance much for physical, unfortunately.
There are some really good series out there, but when it comes to manga, definitely I think it is the most expensive of the hobbies because
That's
they have
true.
so many volumes of manga. Of course, you can also try certain websites where you can read manga for free, but
That's true. That's true. That's part of the reason why I do like webtoon and stuff because you can pay to see episodes ahead of time before they actually come out free, but most of it is free to read, and at my own pace. So
Mhm.
when I have time, I like to like before I go to bed or something.
And do you have like a favorite video game or even favorite genre of video games?
Oh boy! So favorite games is always a difficult one to answer. The genre is a little bit easier. I love RPGs, specifically fantasy RPGs. The immediate ones that come to mind are some of the Zelda titles, like Twilight Princess is one of my favorite Zelda games, and the combo of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I really liked those as well. And my favorite RPG series of all time is Legend of Heroes. Very highly recommended. Have you
Mhm.
played those? Like starting with Trails in the Sky?
I've seen gameplay videos. I actually own several of them, and I've never
Oh,
started the series.
you must. You must. It is required now that we've talked about it. It is required.
Indeed, indeed.
Mhm. But yeah, you start with the Trails in the Sky series. Those are three games, and then you can move on to the Crossbell, like Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure, and then you go on to Cold Steel and go from there. But it's a fantastic series if you like world building and good characters and great development and everything across all of the games. They're all interconnected. I would very highly recommend it. It will
Let
spoil
me
you for
interrupt
all
you
other
real
RPGs.
quick.
Hmm?
They're actually going to release the tabletop role-playing game version of Trails.
Eh? Really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This year is coming out.
Uh, how did I not hear of this? I will have to look
Uh-huh.
this up
I
immediately
also just
afterwards.
found out because of I don't know if you know the series of video games, also by Nihon Falcom. The book is
Mhm,
over there.
mhm,
Over there. There it is. Uh-huh.
mm.
The same publisher, they're going to release the Trails of the Sky tabletop RPG.
Well, that'll be a definite buy from me. I need
Mhm.
to look into that. That is amazing. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's amazing. But yes, please play them.
Please
Um.
continue with your video game,
Oh yes, of
your
course.
thoughts.
So I mentioned Zelda and Trails. I also really love Hollow Knight. I don't know if you're familiar with Hollow Knight, but you're a lonely little bug making
Metroidvania.
your way through a fallen kingdom, beating up baddies. But that's the only Metroidvania I've played, so I don't know how I feel about the rest of the genre. But I'm definitely interested in trying more. Otherwise, I love horror games like Fatal Frame, Resident Evil, Silent Hill. Horror anime are nice too. Horror webtoons, movies. Horror is just my jam. I do love it. Other than that, I have recently discovered, very recently in the past couple of months, trying my very first Souls like in Dark Souls 3, that I like Souls games. I tried 3, I got my taste of that delicious suffering, and now I have to play them all, so I'm going to play them all.
I've
How
seen
do
you in your streams playing Dark Souls 1.
you?
It's very entertaining. I'm currently playing Dark Souls 3.
Oh, is that your first playthrough?
No, well,
Uh,
for Dark Souls 3, yes. But for the series, I finished Dark Souls 1 and 2, and finally I got to Dark Souls 3.
Oh, 3 is gonna spoil you if you played 1 and 2 first because it's so polished. It feels so good, and some of the bosses are fantastic. I hope you got the DLC.
I
Oh,
got
it's
it, I got it.
so good. It's so good. How far are you?
I'm currently I defeated the Cathedral of the Deep boss, you know, the priests that you had to kill a bunch
Hmm.
of them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm currently entering this city. It was Irithyll. I think the
Irithyll,
city of
yeah.
Irithyll,
Mm.
exactly. That's where I am.
Oh, fantastic. So you're almost to the guy, the boy. I can't say much
Oh.
more, but he's a great boss.
Did
Great
you
boss.
by the way, do you see that book behind me, the black book over there? That's the tabletop role-playing game of Dark Souls.
There's a Dark Soul?
Uh-huh.
Really?
It's this one. Hold on a second.
Uh,
Let me get it for you. Mm,
I'm learning new things today. This is fantastic.
There we go. Mm, mm. Let me adjust the camera. Okay, yes, this is the core book. Let me see if I
Ooh,
can get it. Dark Souls.
the role playing game. Ooh.
And this is like the tome, like the beast theory that contains a lot of a bunch of monsters and whatnot.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh,
Mm-hmm,
that's
mm-hmm.
so cool. Wow.
And the first printing was awful. A lot of people hated it because it was terrible. It had many errors, but this is like the second printing. The second
Hmm.
printing is good.
Oh, good. I'm glad they fixed the errors then. They do seem like a um developer that really cares about the public opinion and feedback and stuff. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yes, although they recently released the Tome of Journeys, that it's kind of like material to play Dark Souls 1 and 2 because
Mm,
this tabletop RPG mostly focuses on Dark Souls 3. So they
mm.
came out with the Tome of Journey, but that one currently has an entire chapter missing and many errors. So once again, they need to fix
Uh-oh.
it. Yeah.
Oh no. It makes sense that they released one centered on Dark Souls 3. It was just wildly popular compared to 1 and 2. 1 is of course much beloved, but they did a great job on 3. It feels like a just
hmm
fantastically polished game. I'm glad that I started with that one.
Huh. Yes, yes.
Going back to 1 made it a little bit clunky, but I love it all the same. I really am enjoying Dark Souls 1. Mm,
Some
Bitty
people
bitty.
prefer the lore for Dark Souls 1, maybe because of nostalgia or perhaps because it was the first one, but some people actually love that lore.
That makes sense because you get to understand like the origin of the gods and stuff that are mentioned in Dark Souls 3 but are of course, actually I don't want to say because you're playing Dark Souls 3, but it does fill in some of the gaps in Dark Souls 3. So, it's nice to play both of them so that you have the full picture.
hmm
Hmm,
So,
I really
and
like
I
them.
recommend that if you are into Metroidvanias, there are so many cool ones out there. You have Mortal Shell or Lies of P, which is pretty much steampunk Pinocchio. If you wanted to
Hmm.
play a steampunk Pinocchio, Lies of P, definitely get it.
Yeah, I've been told one of my friends said that Lies of P is their favorite Souls-like. So I definitely want to try that one. And also Sekiro was another friend's favorite. So I got to try that one too. I'm going to play all of them. I'm hooked on Souls-likes.
I always tell people, so many games, so little time, right?
Yes, yes. It is a never-ending problem, the backlog.
Yes.
Forever an issue.
Now, when it comes to anime series, what are your preferences when it comes to genre?
For anime, mm, I like fantasy a lot. I haven't had a whole lot of time for anime. I did enjoy, even though it's kind of controversial, I guess. I did enjoy Demon Slayer. Uh, I guess the first couple of seasons more than the most recent question mark. It just it had a lot of soul in the first series. I didn't enjoy the most recent. I think it was the Swordsmith Village or something. I don't remember. It's been a while, but that one kind of fell off a little bit for me. I think, but I did like that one. I liked the horror series. I think it was called Promised Neverland. I liked the first
Ah,
season of
yes.
that one. That was a really good
Mhm.
horror series. Um, Other than that, sometimes I find some good fantasy ones, and some I actually found a slice of life that I like. I don't typically like a whole lot of slice of life, but I found one that's called. Let me see what it's called. Sorry, my cat is my keyboard is loud. Let's see.
Oh,
It's
it's
called The
okay.
Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today, which sounds like a very depressing title, but it's about this cat that grew to be very, very large, and it does like all the housework for this human, and it's about their daily life and trying to get past the difficulties of having a human-sized cat in your house. It's
I can
actually pretty
imagine.
interesting. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, yeah. Other than that, I can't think of other animes that I've watched recently. I haven't had a whole lot of time. Time is always a problem.
Well, seeing that you enjoy horror anime, I
Hmm.
recommend
Another. I will write
another.
that down immediately. What is that one about?
Yes, you have to be very careful when telling the premise to people because there is like this huge spoiler. But like to keep it as ambiguous as possible, main character is a young boy that is not very healthy. He's recovering from a condition.
Mm,
He goes back to his hometown and he's trying to adapt. He's getting into school, but everybody tells him to avoid a certain girl. Like,
mhm.
don't even look at her. Don't talk to her. Don't pay attention to her. And that's where the whole mystery originates. Why should he avoid talking to this girl? Why should he ignore this girl? And it's probably my favorite horror anime of all time. And the spoiler, I have yet to find a single person in my life that has watched that anime and has figured out the mystery. And all of the clues are there. All of the clues are there since the first episodes, and you slap your face when you finish the series. And I was like, how could I not notice? Yeah,
Ooh, that's interesting. Also, telling somebody to not do something just makes them want to do it more like, no, don't talk to that girl. I'm not going to tell
exactly.
you why, but just don't do it. It's not, don't do that. It's like, well,
Whatever you
now I
do,
got to figure out
Pandora,
why,
don't open that box. Yeah.
right? So that's just silly. But yes, I will definitely watch that. Oh, it's from
I
2012.
also
Ooh.
think that they do a great job in telling the story in a very like almost like you are sitting in a campfire telling scary stories. Like there, have you heard about
Ooh.
that girl? What girl? She that she's in class. Who knows what? Yeah, that girl. But they have like this really almost like a hush tone. Like, hey, be careful. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that girl we're not supposed to talk to, but we can't tell you why.
Uh,
Don't worry about it. It's fine. That's great. I gotta check that out.
Now, when it comes to being a VTuber, did you take some sort of voice acting lessons, formal or informal?
I actually do not. I do some voice acting work on the side, and I very much enjoy that, but I've never taken formal classes. I would like to take some formal classes, at least for singing, but not for voice acting yet. Mm, would be
I think
nice to
your
do.
voice is really good, and the way
Oh,
that you
thank
you
you.
change your intonation and inflection, that sounds like a natural talent.
Why, thank you. I
Mhm.
appreciate that.
And what would you consider to be the best things about being a VTuber?
Ooh. So, best things. Uh, I mentioned it before. I started streaming and content creation in general to come out of my shell. So I think one of my answers for the best things is that I get to meet people. I get to meet so many cool people through raids and through other people I know in collabs, and I've met really great friends and my best friends through this, and I'm really happy about that. So getting to meet lots of people is a plus. I think for just streaming in general, and I think sharing the experience of streaming and playing games with everyone that comes to hang out with me, like talking about the lore and finding new things together, the whole experience is just the best. Like the communication with everyone, I really enjoy what I do. Um, mm, let's see, and I guess another example is like when I was playing Hollow Knight for the first time. For example, I got several people that told me you inspired me to start a playthrough of my own, and then they play through the game at the same time of me and give me updates while we were streaming, and everyone involved was just happy and communicating about the game and the lore, and that's a magical thing. I think that's another really great thing about streaming. Um, let's see, another another big thing for me. I when I started I like I said, I was coming out of my shell, I was a little lonely, it was a pretty dark time. Totally fine now, nobody worry, please. Um, but I never had anyone to really depend on or talk to or make anything a little better, and with how stressful this world is now and how difficult it is with costs going up and everything else, I wanted to be there for people and to maybe make a small part of their day better and be something that I could depend on to cheer them up a little. So perhaps the best thing about VTubing or just content creation in general for me is when somebody tells me that I made their day a little better or the customers on their cab ride were cheered up by me. I got that one before, and that was really heartwarming. Or that I made them smile on a rough day. That really makes me more happy than I could ever express, and that is by far the best thing I think. So just meeting people and making people's day better and sharing the whole experience is what I enjoy most about VTubing and content creation. Mm.
I always joke with my VTuber friends telling them that VTubers are the bartenders of the internet.
The
You're
bartenders.
there on the bar and listening to other people's like problems and whatnot, and you cheer them on. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. At the cheerleader cat, I got you.
and what would you consider to be the most challenging things about being a VTuber?
Hmm. Most challenging things. I can't think of anything that's specific for being a VTuber, but rather content creation in general. Uh, my manager has made things significantly better for me in terms of managing my time and the projects I take on and when. So I think my answer before would have been like, I don't have any time. Time is my biggest problem, but she has helped me so much with that. So now I'd probably say that despite having come out of my shell considerably more than I have before, and I think being here is kind of sort of evidence of that. I would have just been like, no, and then just hid in a corner and not come. Um, I still find the most challenging thing is reaching out to people. I want to strive to be better at reaching out for collaborations with people that I've wanted to talk to and do cool things with, not just for streaming, but other recorded content too. And that's definitely where I find the most challenge. I have done it more in recent times, so that's good. I reached out for a collab pretty recently, but I'd like to do that more often, so I can meet more people, mm, do more cool
The
things.
social aspect is very enjoyable, and I
Mm,
think the current generations are very lucky because back several decades back, we sometimes had to travel hours in order just to talk to someone, or
yeah.
once you get the phone number, you were like on the phone, and but now it's so easy. You can see anyone on the screen wherever you want. You can
Mm,
call them on Discord, and you it's so easy to get in touch with others, and specifically people that you get along with. So I think
yeah,
I
yeah.
really enjoy that. Yeah.
I enjoy that too. It is easier than ever before to be social, and I would like to reach out more because the options and the opportunities are there. I just got to take them.
And I think a lot of people that what you mentioned that are struggling perhaps with shyness or not being confident enough, it's very simple because when I was a kid, I used to be very shy. But then I
Mm,
realized, why do you care about what people think about you? Just do your thing. Sometimes you get too programmed, like, what would people think about you if you do this or if you say that? Don't care about that. Just be yourself. And if
mm.
they like you, great. If they don't like you, whatever, just keep doing your thing.
That is a great outlook to have, and that's what my manager tells me and my other friends. She's just like, "Why do you care? Just do it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
And I
So
think
I'm
that
trying.
that could also help some people that, for example, that sometimes get harassed or whatever because of what
Mm,
they are doing. I actually run actual plays, and I remember a couple of years back, I had this player that was being like targeted by this old fool. He was constantly like harassing him and targeting him, and I was like, well, why do you care about his opinions again? Who is he exactly? And he got over that immediately, like, yeah, why do I care?
well, good. I'm glad. That's fantastic that he wasn't bothered by him anymore. That's good.
Uh-huh.
I do think in
And
general that's a better outlook to have. You feel a lot less bothered by things, and you can be yourself. Like me, I my friends that are, offline or just hang out with me outside of stream will tell you that what you see on stream is just me. It's just me. I'm not like putting on a character or doing anything different. I have to talk a little bit more because, I'm streaming, but that's about it. It's just me.
mhm.
Mm,
That's actually a very interesting point. Would you consider yourself to be a bit of a performer or perhaps a bit like a puppeteer controlling the avatar? Or how do you look yourself as a VTuber artist?
Actually, no. I don't think I would say that I am a performer because Another thing that people that have been here a long time will tell you is that if I'm not in a good mood, you will tell. Like, I'm really bad at acting like I'm in a good mood when I'm not, so I just don't. So if I'm really, really feeling bad, I just won't stream and we'll do something else. But no, it's just me up on the screen, and my VTuber avatar is just basically me with a slightly different hair color and ears. So
Uh,
and I'm just up here being myself and trying to make people smile. Mm,
Fair point, and I think people appreciate the honesty. At least in my experience, whenever you feel good, tell people that you feel good. Whenever you don't feel really good, you can also let them know. And
mhm.
I think they connect better with you. They think, oh, this person on the screen, mm, he or she or whatever is just like me.
Yeah, yeah, I think it helps connect more on a personal level. Not to say that there's anything wrong with VTubers that do have like these characters. Like I know a fantastic superhero VTuber that puts on a wonderful act of being like a superhero, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's really amazing too. There is a charm to both sides.
Hmm. And what do you think about VTuber culture in general in present times?
Oh Lord. So I saw this question in the email and I'm like, bro, I have no idea. So I live under a rock and it is very cozy. So I cannot claim that I am up to date on on current VTuber culture and the current issues in the sphere. I haven't been exposed enough to it really to formulate an opinion, I think, but when I think about it, the biggest thought that comes to mind is VTuber culture being so closely tied to idol culture. I think it's been that way for years, and that is placed kind of by default on so many VTubers, and if even if they're not a part of a huge name group, and I think that causes a lot of problems with like parasocial values and stalking and harassment. These things I have unfortunately experienced, and so many of my friends have experienced, and my manager has even urged me on certain things to be careful about what I say as I go about my activities. And it can be a little scary to have to think about these things, and I think that's probably the only issue that I can think of that I've been personally exposed to and know about, and that is a little scary sometimes.
Uh-huh, I agree. I was actually also the target of being stalked about a year ago, in fact, by the same guy that harassed the other person that I was telling you about. But
Really?
well, I'm pretty tough, so I was like, bring it, free publicity, bring it. No,
Bring
but
it,
yes,
brah.
the the stalker had a very tragic end. It was almost like a meme ending. It almost sounds like a how you say an urban horror story because he was like an old guy, very old guy, who was targeting people making videos, and he was always celebrating when someone quit doing YouTube videos or even playing tabletop role-playing games because of his criticisms. So I
Rude.
called him out. I did like a super, some people would call it the most savage video on the internet. I had to upload it to Odyssey because YouTube would have taken it down immediately. So
Eh?
yes, I did like that video, and after that video, long story short, he was found unalived on his room, sitting in front of his computer playing Skyrim, unalived, like 2 weeks after unaliving.
Oh no.
And the creepiest thing is that they saw his last video, and in his last video, he was playing Skyrim. An orc non-player character told his character, make sure that you make sure that you do not die. I don't know which character in Skyrim was the character, but if you see the video, that was the last words that he heard before that happening. So it was like an urban horror story.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Hmm.
That went a little darker than I expected.
Yeah, super super dark,
Goodness
but
gracious.
you just have to keep on going. You have to accept
Mm,
that those people exist. And I always also, since I heard about the story, I always warn my VTuber friends, be careful when you accept gifts from your fans, because
mm.
I saw this other case when this VTuber received a gift with a tracking device. Did you
I
hear about
saw
that?
that. That is
That's crazy.
terrifying.
That is
That's
crazy. Yeah. So I was like, get one of those devices to scan your gifts or something because
Yeah,
You
yeah,
never know, right?
I think they accepted it at a convention or something, and it had a
Mhm.
tracking device in it. That's I don't know if I'd ever accept something at a convention. Like, I'd feel really bad about not doing so, but I d how do you do that and not seem rude? I don't know.
Uh-huh.
That'd be so scary. It is really scary that we have to worry about these kinds of things, but it's a very real threat, and there are people like that out there. You gotta be really careful. Hmm.
Might as well do it when they are not watching, right? Like, oh, thank you for the gift.
True. I'm just gonna turn around. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
No.
I'm just inspecting this closely. It's the stitching is so nice. I don't know why I went southern there for a second.
Yes. And
Yeah.
now, before we wrap up this interview, do you have anything else that you wish to share with us?
Uh, just that I'm gonna go check out like all your sponsors. They seemed
Oh,
really cool, and I'm also gonna go look up that Trails TTRPG and the Dark Souls one too. So I have a lot of TTRPG research to do. Thank you. You have been a fantastic host. I'm glad I did this.
thank you. You've been a
Mm,
fantastic guest.
thank you, thank you.
Now, sorry, the Trails tabletop RPG. I think it's coming out on
It,
winter,
it,
but
it, it,
uh-huh.
what? I'm so sorry. It popped up on my screen.
Yes, no, yeah, the Trails RPG is coming out on winter, I think. So definitely check
Ooh.
it out for when it is released. And when it comes to the sponsors, yes, definitely, like I said, the Daughters of Lamb tabletop RPG is pay what you want. You can pretty much download it for free and check it out to see if you like it.
Oh, very, very cool. I will definitely look at those. Do you link those in your descriptions and stuff?
In the
Mm.
description and in the pinned comment, as always. And that one of the magical girls, what was the name? Magi-Knights Awakening. Here it is. This is pretty
Ooh,
much Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, but magical girl style.
that's amazing.
Well, and you could also say a bit like Power Rangers because you can also transform like into the Red Ranger and the
Oh, wow.
kind of like that. So definitely, I also recommend that one.
That is really cool. I will check them all out, I think. So thank you.
Excellent.
Mm.
So thank you everyone for watching this interview. This has been Rin from the Super Cat Punch channel. Thank you once again, Rin.
Of course, thank you for having me. This was fantastic.
And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the super thanks button. Like, subscribe, take a look at the information in the description and in the pinned comment. You're all going to find the link to Rin's channel in the description and in the pinned comment as well. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master, and remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you all and see you later. I'm going to stop the recording in 10 seconds. Bye.
Bye.